It was
Personally, I prefer like a group chat, because as things comes up, like we can ping like more like easily, but I could try.
Well, I tell you what, we will I will put this out to the group. I will make a poll. My main thing is I just want to make sure that everybody has the right platforms. Like if you what plat I have Slack. That's the one I'm used to.
I have Slack too.
How about you?
I used Facebook. I use WhatsApp for personal. This is just me. I use it for like family and things like that. And then with WhatsApp, when I've been in WhatsApp groups, sometimes it just goes on and on and on and on. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like, what is happening? I get bombarded. Um,
Yeah.
and the only thing is with Facebook groups, a benefit is, posting pictures and connecting with people and, become friends and doing that way. But it's always good to see, like, it's just all personal preference. It's always good to see what the majority of the group kind of
Yeah. Like we could like it's good to just test it because you just don't know.
exactly.
Right.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. No. Well, like I said, I got the Facebook one up and running. That's what I used with my major garden area group that I teach. We have hundreds of people, and we use the Facebook. And what I like about the Facebook too is I can actually do something called a side chat. If you want to do like a little side chat,
Yeah.
I don't know. But anyway, Julie, thank you for that suggestion because I love that because I do think that we can be more connected.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
were talking about that last week, weren't we?
Yes, we were. Rosemary, what format do you like? Would you use if we were to do some kind of a group? I can't hear you because you're muted.
Sorry. I'm fine with WhatsApp or Facebook. Um, yeah, either
Okay,
one's
well,
fine with me.
can we do photos with a WhatsApp?
You can,
Yes.
yeah, yeah, you can,
And
yeah.
okay, so we've
Yeah.
got three.
Actually,
So,
from what I understand, the quality is actually better on WhatsApp. Someone told me.
well,
I
I'm
didn't
all
know.
about it. If we want to do a WhatsApp, I could do that too. And then that would be, I just have to figure out how to figure. I'd have to figure out how to get it set up for us. But I'm up for that. So if we got votes, we'll take a vote. I'll send out a poll and we can all vote on it. All right, let's get going, you guys, because I have to go to Janet Jackson concert tonight.
You do.
Woohoo! Woohoo!
Yeah,
Yes, ma'am.
Where's she performing?
Was
amazing.
that
Where is she performing?
at the Resort World?
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
They have fun. Oh, you gotta
Yeah,
take
that's gonna be
pictures and
so much fun.
post the
Yeah.
pictures.
And also we have a full hour. I got upgraded our stuff, so we've got a full hour of class today. So this is all good. So I am going to share my screen. Let's see here. Share.
And we should be on mute most of the time. Is that
If
right?
you can, but you know what? I'm really happy for you guys to just go right on there and ask questions anytime you want because we have such a small group that am happy to you have you guys really ask a question at any time.
Okay, cool.
So today, okay, wait, before we get started, I wanted to review a little bit from last week. Did everybody get to watch the replay? Julie? No. Well, it's okay because Julie, it was all about seed starting, and I don't know if you're interested in that, but it's going to be archived, and down the line, we're going to have all these classes archived, so you can go back and watch them at any time you want. But if you need to, anyway, it was really cool on seed starting. And then Rosemary was our star pupil, and she went ahead and set everything up. And I even went over to her house and filmed it, and she wasn't doing it quite right, so it was okay. That's what this is all about. If until you do things, this is why you guys, yay, Rosemary, until we actually do things, you guys, until you put those hands in the dirt, you're not going to have the questions that you need to have. And you're not going to make the mistakes that you need to make. So this is what it's all about. This is all about making mistakes and fixing them. Everything is fixable. So the one thing, Rosemary, I'm worried about you is being rushed with getting those seedlings planted. So the main thing is if you ever get a seedling from, if you're starting it from seeds or you're getting it from the plant, from the store, you want to make sure to let it sit out for a little bit every day and let it get adjusted to the weather. We don't want to just buy
Yes. So
yeah.
I did my little upgrade was I have them on a rolling cart now, so I can just roll them into the sun and then roll them back in. And then during that rolling in and out period, do you still use the grow lights or no?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yep. Have to use the grow
And
light.
then you did tell me I needed to thin some things, but I didn't know who to thin, so I didn't do anything. And they're so cute. I'm just looking at them all the time.
You don't have to think. Okay, so let's, okay, I will do, let me see what I'm gonna write notes here. I'm gonna do a video for you guys and send it to you about thinning. How's that?
Okay.
Because it's not hard to do, but it's one of those things that I have to show you. So I'll do a video on thinning. And this is something that we do outside and inside. And Julie, you know about that, don't you? When you've planted some seeds outside, like your carrots and your celery, we had you thin them. Do you remember that?
Yes, I have only thinned the arugula. I haven't thinned any other ones yet.
Okay, so I'm glad you brought that up, Rosemary, because that's important. So here's the situation. We're going to talk about this today a little bit, as a matter of fact, but it's all about the size of your plants, how big they're going to get, because everything starts off as a seedling, but every plant becomes either a teeny tiny plant, medium, large, extra large. So let's just say you have radishes. And we all know radishes are about a quarter, right? Like the size of a quarter. And so is our carrots. So if we have those little seedlings right up against each other, like right next to each other, you want to thin out a few so you have about a quarter between plants so that radish can form into a nice ball. Does that make sense?
Jamie, can I ask you a question on that?
Yes.
Why do we do that instead of just planting like one seed, like spacing it apart from the beginning?
Well, okay, there's two reasons. Number one, not every seed germinates. That's just the nature of seeds. If you're getting a lot of germination, that's great, but then we have to thin. Now, if you are finding that you like, let's just say you got a lot of germination the first planting, and we're going to talk about succession planting. Once you've put in a few radishes, you want to keep planting and planting. So every week you have radishes coming into fruition. That just means that, yeah, maybe you can spread them out a little bit. And that's another trick. If you, if I don't know if you have a handy dandy husband, but if you get a ruler and you space things out, you can drill little holes in your ruler, and then you can put them and then you can put the ruler on the ground, and then you can space them that way. So yes, Julie, you can plant them properly, but then you might end up saying, oh shoot, these two didn't grow, and now you don't have as many radishes as you wanted. It's because we get quite a bit of seeds in our pack, like those radish seeds, there's hundreds of them in that packet. So you may as well just go ahead and plant them. Now, don't forget, when we thin a radish seed is just a microgreen. We can eat it. You can just pluck them out and put them in your salad that night.
Gotcha. I'm sorry. I was just going to say, I need to go back and watch the other lesson. Should I be seed starting right now though, or can I just like plant seeds in my garden?
Okay, we're going to talk about that today.
Okay, perfect.
You can do both. And just to answer your questions, there's certain seeds that take a lot longer. Like for instance, a tomato seed takes a lot longer from beginning to end.
Yeah.
So you would want to get those started indoors now, or even you're even a little bit late for that. But if you're going to do seed starting, wait till you see Julie. There's a lot to it. There's a whole lesson on it. So it's all there. It's all how you do it. And you always can call me and ask me if you have some questions on it. But it's a setup. But once you set it up, it's really fun to do.
My problem is like I'm doing a renovation right now. So
it's probably not a good.
Yeah, so I feel like it's not worth it.
Not worth it. So you've got the lesson. It's always going to be there for you. And whenever you're ready to do because seed starting can happen at any point in any time.
Yeah.
Maybe not in the middle.
So Jamie, I was kind of just going to be keeping on starting seeds and just doing it constantly until my garden was just overflowing.
That's fine. That's fine. Like I said, I was just going to say that, and that's fine. And but there are certain seeds we're going to look. Let's get into the lesson because we're going to talk about all this now. Here, let me get this. Let's see how we can get this to play here properly, and we'll see if
I
there's
dropped my
any-
child off now. I'm on my way home now. I've dropped off my child and I had to blur my background because she had to change clothes in the car for gymnastics. Oh my
Listen, we
Lord.
don't want any X-rated child. You know what? It's supposed to be a very mild type of
God.
education here, gardening. Okay, so one of the things I was going to talk about today is cleaning up our beds because we're going to get ready for spring cleaning. I cannot, once again, I can't get me this thing to work. But anyway, so we're going to talk about cleaning up our beds, use a hand rake, get a bucket, and get in there and pick out all the leaves and any kind of debris that you have in there. It's time to get that cleaned up. You can even sterilize your trellises once you've used them a season or two. So that's all things you can do. Check. We want to check your structures, make sure they're sturdy and clean. We want to refresh our soil. We have the Fox Farm potting soil. I'm sorry, you guys, about this. Let me see if I can get this to work better where we can make this go down a little bit. There we go. That looks better. I don't know how to get this out of the way. That out of the way. Okay. Go back up to play. So the Fox Farm soil is great. We can get that at Star Nursery, and it's a great way to cover your as your beds start compressing, they're going to start decomposing. You're going to see that your raised beds get more and more soil comes down. You want to keep refreshing that for two reasons. You want to keep it nice and high to the top. And number two, we want to keep that soil, really good soil in there all times because your vegetables are using up the nutrients. So we got to keep feeding, feeding, feeding. So that's one way of doing it. Another way is to use some worm castings. The middle photo is what they look like. They don't smell bad and they're very easy to use and you sprinkle them along. You don't need a lot of the worm casting. Now compost, we can just pile on the compost as much as you want. The worm castings we don't need as much of, but we do like to have a combination of them in there. So these are the two ways to amend your soil. You could use chicken poop is a great one, but that one has to be, if you have someone that's going to offer you some chicken poop, as a matter of fact, Rosemary has a friend that's got plenty of it. Maybe we'll make a big date of gathering, coming together and sharing chicken poop one day, Rosemary.
Oh yeah. We can go clean out her chicken house. I'm sure she would love that.
Because I mean, literally, it is fantastic and it's free. So, but you just have to let it
Yeah.
sit for a few months and let it decompose. It doesn't have any smell. Rosemary gave me some. It's great. I've been adding it to my compost too. So we got lots of fun things that this group can share and do together.
Now, if you do have dogs, they might be interested in it.
Okay.
A little bit.
That sounds fun.
Yeah.
And then also is mushroom soil. I don't know if anybody has any, well, you know what? People grow mushrooms here. I just met a guy. Oh, that just reminds me. I met this guy, a local guy that's growing mushrooms locally, and he's got mushroom coffee, and it's all organic.
Ooh.
Okay. I got to share that with you guys.
Did you meet him at the gym?
Yes. Did you meet him? Louis.
Yeah, I got it. His coffee's really good.
It's delicious. It was
Yeah.
delicious. Okay, another thing you guys are gonna have so much fun together. Okay, so anyway, we're gonna find out maybe he has some mushroom soil for us. That's great stuff for the garden. So who knows where we're gonna be going with all this. All right, next one. This is something called this. I don't know why this is so blurry. Hugelkultur. If you've got a new bed and you want to save money on soil, this is called hugelkultur, and you can layer logs, branches, sticks, leaves on the bottom part of your soil, and then you can just fill the top with all the good stuff. So this is just a good way. If you've never heard of hugelkultur, this is how it works. And it down the line, it will just keep composting and providing nutrients for your garden. Ooh, Springs Preserve. make a field trip there if you ever want to go there. They have a demonstration vegetable garden. Seek it out. It is fabulous. The guy there is wonderful. Master gardeners are always there, and they have a really cool exhibit of hugelkultur, and it's actually mounded up, and they're growing all sorts of things there, and it's doing really well. Check your irrigation, everybody. This is after a while, all that what is it in our all that stuff in our water clogs up the irrigation lines. So we got to clean them up, check on them, and making sure they run, and also make sure that your timers are set. We're getting ready. Oh, I didn't get the date. I'll get the date for us. I'm writing notes for all you guys. I'll get the date when we get to change our irrigation to be an extra day. Right now it's once a day. So pretty soon we'll be
I
able.
think it might be March. I think it's March 1st, actually.
Oh, really? Okay, so it's coming up.
I think so. I saw it somewhere.
Okay, well, I'll double check it for you
I
guys.
wanted to ask you, I was looking today when we're putting our seedlings into our beds. I don't know how close they're going to be, but I was looking at doing a soaker hose instead of like the individual irrigation heads.
Well,
Do you
I
have
tell
an
you,
opinion about
I
that?
do. I have a very big opinion, and I don't think you've seen it, Rosemary, but if you can see in the picture, this grid system, this is called a garden grid. It is
Yeah.
unbelievably. Are you enjoying your garden grid, Julie?
Yeah, I love it. I don't have to think about it. It looks good and
It
it's
looks super good.
organized.
It works good. It puts out a lot of water. In the summertime, your plants actually get watered properly, and it doesn't miss spots. So, Rosemary, we'll go over that another time. If you're ever interested, we can put one of these in for you. I can just tell you,
Yeah,
again, it's
yeah, where'd it come from?
it comes from Garden in.
Amazon.
No, it does not come from Garden. Garden in Minutes is the name of the site. I'm putting all this down on my notes and
Okay.
I'll get this back to you. And you can order it online, and you can see videos of how to install it yourself. You don't even have to hire anybody if you don't want to. But we do, Eric and I put them into our clients' houses because they're fabulous.
Awesome. Jamie, question, how do you test to make sure that there are no holes or that they're not clogged?
That's a good question. What you do is you run it. And can you see on here, this is showing you all those little holes, you can see where the water's popping out.
Mhm.
So when you run it, all you have to do is get a, I don't know, like a pin, or I don't know what you would use, maybe even a chopstick, something small enough to go in there, and you just poke it yourself, and
Okay.
it comes out. So it is
Okay.
good to check it, because all that calcium in our water, ugh, it just clogs them up.
Yeah.
Let's see. Oh, you know what else I'm going to tell you about the watering system now? Actually, the garden grid doesn't happen as much, but for Rosemary and Anna down the line, this might be for you too. If you have a different type of drip irrigation, when you're filling up your beds with fresh soil, with compost, with worm castings, sometimes you're going to get the dirt on top of your irrigation. You just want to make sure you pull it up. So I don't know about you, Julie, have you been doing a good job about adding the Fox Farm soil to your stuff? You want to make sure to keep pulling up your grid. It always has to stay on top. We don't want to cover it with dirt or soil. So that's another thing that I wanted to make sure everybody knows about, is to really keep that irrigation up and free of debris, dirt and soil. Make sure it's really good. Make sure it's all clean and clean. Now, this is a little bit of a tricky part. I wanted to tell you guys so that you will have success in your germination of your seeds. If you are planning on putting seeds directly into your garden, you need to make sure you understand what seeds can tolerate what temperatures. All seeds are different. So sometimes, like for instance, a tomato seed, that's why we start them indoors. We even start them with a heat mat underneath it. It's like being in an incubator for these tomatoes. They need warm soil. almost 75-degree soil. So if you need to know what your seed soil germination is, they do tell you on the seed packet. So all you have to do is go out with some kind of a thermometer. You can use a thermometer from your kitchen or your barbecue, but go out and you put it around in different spots of your garden and get the average temperature. And that's how you're going to know. So that's an important thing to know. So we're learning, you guys have been learning that we have our warm and cool and hot season plants, when to plant them. We're going to talk about them, the rest of them today. And now we're learning that our soil temperature needs to be a specific temperature or they're just not going to germinate. So here it is. Here's our 3 seasons. Now this is the aha moment. And I'm going to, I can send you this handout here. I'm going to do this planting the seasons handout. Planting the seasons handout. This is so important to have. Now, we don't have the 4th one. We don't have a cold here. But the reason why I want you to have this is because you guys are now going to be expert gardeners and you're going to have people asking you questions and I want you to be able to give them some answers. So basically, if you've got a friend from back east in a cold region, they're going to know that there's certain plants that need to have 35-degree and below daily high. That's a high of 35 every day for the month. That's their high. That's the cold season. But there's certain plants that need that. So that's why we have it on there. But let's just go from the beginning. Our cool season, that's what we're in right now. We have a low of 35 degrees, nothing lower than 35 degrees, and then usually nothing higher than 65 degrees. That's what our lettuces, our carrots, our radishes, our kale, our chives, these are all our cool plants, our cauliflower and broccoli, they all need to be in that range to survive. Our cilantro, our parsley. Once it gets hotter than that, now we do have plants that go in between these cool and warm, and we're going to talk about those later. But there's certain plants that just will not survive past a high of 65. It just doesn't, it's not happy. Our warm season, which is what we're talking about today, we're transitioning into warm. That's where our average low is no more than 65 degrees. That means our soil is going to be a little bit warmer for our seeds, up to 85 degrees. They're going to be fine. And again, there's some crossover here with some of our plants. Our arugula can cross over. Some of our lettuces can cross over. Julie, if you're going to keep doing some more planting of your lettuces, because I know you like lettuces, you're going to want to do your red lettuces. They can tolerate a little more heat. They shouldn't be bolting. And also, we can still continue doing radishes. We can still continue doing, romaine lettuces don't tend to be able to tolerate a little bit warmer than other types of lettuces that might just bolt right away. Hot season, we all know those are our tomatoes, our peppers, our eggplants, and our okra. Those are going to be loving the hot season. Our basil, they're going to flourish this summer as long as we give it a little bit of a break. We might have to put some shade cloth up here and there to keep the tomatoes from frying. And that's it. So I don't know if you guys have any questions about this, but this is the most important thing that we need to talk about. And I'm going to go over it over and over again with you guys, and I'm going to give you examples so that you'll understand it. Going back to the soil temperature guidelines, our raised beds actually are a little bit warmer. They stay warmer than the air temperature. So our corn and tomatoes, they need about a 55-degree temperature to germinate. Cucumbers, right around the same, and peppers. But when we get into the warmer part of the summer, when we want to plant our beans, our melons, and our pumpkins, and our squash, that's going to be end of May. That needs to be 70 and 75 degrees, our temperature for those seeds to be able to germinate. So do you see why people feel like they can't grow? Because there's a lot of tricky things to growing, you guys. but you are going to have the tools, and I'm going to be holding your hand. I'll be telling you all year long. You're not going to have to really know this because we're going to be going through this all year long. But then the next year, you're going to want to know it on your own. But once you do this a few times, you're going to get in the rhythm of it. You're going to understand what plants grow at the right time, what plants grow well at what times of the year. But it's really all about temperature. So, what can we sow? So, again, we're in a little bit of a cool, we're still in cool right now. It's middle of February, we're still cool. We still have some time to sow some seeds by seeds. And Julie, this is what we can do. And Rosemary and Anna, as soon as we get you set up, we got to get you set up soon. We're ready to sow today. You can sow some spinach. It'll be fine. Some Swiss chard, the red lettuces, romaine lettuces, some kale, mustard greens do fine right now. You can continue with carrots, but I only recommend the small carrots. There's a different variety of carrots. And there's a really cute little, like a button carrot. I don't remember. Julie, don't you have some cute carrots that you bought? Little short, stubby ones.
I think so, but I don't remember what they're called.
But you just look on the seed packet and you can see, you don't want some long, crazy long carrot because it's going to take too long to come, where it's going to get too hot before it can fully develop. We can still do some beets. Keep going with the radishes. They should be doing fine. We can do some green onions, but not like a big red onion. It's too late now. We can only do short, fast growing things. So you want to be growing things now that are cool, but are going to be finished in 30 days or 40 days.
And you're saying these guys can go directly into the ground outside now?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. Can go right in. And the main thing is, now I'm going to remind you guys, you're going to hear my voice over and over saying this. If you're going to plant seeds outside, you're going to have to hand water them because our irrigation is only going off once a week and we got to keep the seeds moist. They're not going to be successful if we don't keep them moist. So I would say every day to every other day until they start sprouting, and then you can taper off a little bit. But
my only problem last time when I did sow directly into the ground outside,
yes,
and I had the cutest little seeds coming up, and then someone just came in and ate everything.
Well, yes, and that does happen. So if that happened last time, this is what I would do. I would go buy some kind of a cloth. I shouldn't say some kind of cloth. There's specific cloth that you can buy at the store. And again, I can even talk about that. The cloth, I can send you guys the link to that. You can get it on Amazon. And you get some hoops, or even actually when you're doing seeds, you can just lay the cloth right on top of the seeds, pin it down.
Okay.
And then you can water right on top of it. This cloth is permeable. And you can just water on top, and then you can just keep it going and let it go until they start getting big enough that things aren't going to bite it. But if you're getting things, once they get a little bit bigger, you might have to keep the hoop over them.
Mm-hmm.
It's just trial and error. Yeah, I mean,
I think my dad. For those of you who don't know, my dad is a farmer. He has been farming the same land for over 50 years, and he said, "Put some cayenne pepper on that."
Yeah. There's a lot of
So I was like,
there's a lot of tricks to we could spray garlic. There's a cayenne, Dawn soap, and is it cayenne pepper and garlic? You mix all those things together in a blender, and then you pour that around, and supposedly that does well. I have had green worm. I know Julie's going to faint when she hears this. I've had green worms demolish my lettuces, and I had to put diatomaceous earth down. And that's the thing, Rosemary. If it really this covering, it really depends on what you have. If you've got a worm, that's not going to help. So you have to find out what it is that's eating your. If you can find out what it's eating, or if it's maybe it's a lizard, maybe it's a bird. You just it just depends on what it is. And if it's some type of an insect, the diatomaceous earth is great to put down. So pest management, you guys, that's a whole nother, actually, that will be a whole nother class. As we go along and people have different issues, we're going to have to find different ways to counteract that. I mean, some people have rabbits, some people have lizards, some people have bugs, some people have a combination. So it can be a little bit tricky and a little bit disappointing. I just know that when my lettuces got mowed down, I just put the diatomaceous earth, planted a bunch more seeds, and I had a whole nother flock of lettuce in 20 days. So sometimes we'll just have to work with all this stuff. It's not foolproof, but we can grow things here. Now, this is the exciting part about being a new gardener. Sometimes it takes a little while to get started, but once you've got a year under your belt, you're going to have a really wonderful experience because certain plants just come back year after year and you don't have to plant them again, like your chives, chamomile, lavender, lemon balm, oregano, rosemary. Now, parsley is a biannual. It will come back 2 years in a row. Your sage comes back every year, and your thyme. Sometimes we'll have heavy frost or something and they don't make it through and you'll have to replant them. But these and they also grow all year long. So except for the not basil, of course, we know basil dies when it comes frost time. But most of your other herbs last and last, and it's so wonderful. And I love having herbs. Herbs do so well here, and we can grow them easily. So
I just got 2 new herbs. I went to Star Nursery after yoga today, and I just got some more dirt and some more herbs, and now I think I have 14 herbs growing, and they're doing so great. And I feel like for beginner gardeners, herbs are pretty easy to start with.
They really are easy. What did you find today?
I got lemon balm and tarragon. Last time I had tarragon, it did not survive. I'm really hoping this time it does.
Okay, guys, let me tell you why. Number one, tarragon is a cool weather plant and it doesn't like heat. So the minute it gets heat, it's going to not do well. And it's just also a difficult plant. Tarragon is one of those ones, I do not call it a beginner plant. It's very difficult to grow tarragon. So enjoy it while you can and harvest it as much as you can, and then you can dry it and have some, but it's not going to stay. It's gonna bolt probably.
I just ask, so Rosemary, did you buy the plants?
Yes. Although cilantro I'm now growing from seeds. It's so easy. It grew all winter here for me.
Amazing. That's what it does.
Planted it outside. You just bought it from Star Nursery and then just planted it in your back garden.
Yep. Well, I have them in pots because my gardening has to be very aesthetic. I'm very much.
Yes. No, I'm going to be doing pots, so they don't have a raised bed.
Yeah.
That's great. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you can do seeds.
I can send a picture, maybe. Can I send a picture
now? Yeah. You can put it in.
Yeah.
So I have been growing my cilantro from seed, and it's doing great. It's done great. It's gonna bolt the minute it gets too warm for it.
Mm-hmm. So then just harvest your seeds and save them, and then toss them back in. I've just been tossing them back in the same pot,
and they keep growing. So let's talk about real quick about seeds. What's that, Julie?
Oh, I love the picture. Rosemary just sent a picture of her pots. Very aesthetic. With the white.
Thank you. I just added 2 more today, and then I just put that creeping fig in the ground there. I'm trying to make my wall greener.
That's going to be creeping fig is awesome. It does great here, and I love it.
It's so pretty.
One more thing, you guys, I'm glad you brought up about seed saving. Right now, if anybody planted any marigolds, they are looking very terrible right now. And if you hadn't pulled them out, you can save the seeds in there, and they are very interesting seeds. A marigold seed does not look like a little round seed. It looks like brown and beige sticks. They're really cool. So if anybody has any marigolds, you can pop off the flower and put it in a paper bag and save the seeds for as it gets a little bit warmer. Marigolds like warm, so we'll be planting marigolds in our garden. I love to plant flowers in our garden because marigolds do a great job of preventing bugs in our garden. Marigolds, chives, garlic, all these things are great to have in our garden to prevent things. But herbs, even the herbs like the oregano, it has a lot of fragrance to it. It does
Mhm.
detract some pests. Okay. Now, here's, oops, I don't know if we can see this. Okay, I'm sorry, I'm gonna have to go out of here again. See if I can get my my little thing doesn't like to work. All right, there we go. So here's what I was trying to explain to you that we were talking about what kind of plants and how much per square foot they take up. So if you think of plants like in a plate, so if you had a small, like a small appetizer plate, if you had that or in a square foot space, you can put 6 to 12 plants per square foot if they're small. So that would be your scallions, your onions, carrots. I love it. Did you know we could grow sesame? We could grow sesame seeds, arugula, radishes, bush beans, and heat tolerant lettuces. The medium plants that are going to take 2 to 4 plants per square foot. And this is really easy to do when you have a garden grid because a garden grid is a square foot. So this is going to be super easy for you, Julie, to figure out how many per square. We got two to four Swiss chard, and then the lettuces, fennel, the eggplants, they can get sort of big. Calendula, tomatoes can get pretty big. If trellis, they're okay. Basil, peppers, and nasturtium. They are beautiful flowers. They're edible and they're not easy to grow because you have to. It's just, if anybody's interested in nasturtiums, I love them. They're a larger seed. There's something about them. You have to do something called scarification. You've got to rub it with a fingernail file to break open the outside shell a little bit because it's very tough for them to sprout on their own. So I usually soak my seeds overnight. I scar them up first, soak them overnight, and then I plant them. And you will be blessed with the most wonderful flowers you've ever seen. So I highly recommend those. Again, chamomile and the basil and the zinnias are go crazy here. They're great pollinator. They're great pollinator plants. The bees love them. So, are you getting the hang of this? I don't have to go through all of these, but I'll be sending you this in a handout so you'll have it. But this is the way that you're going to sort of, when you go to plan your spring planting, and Julie, you've got lots of space now to plant. You're going to want to make a little chart and plan it. This is how you're going to figure out how big your plants are going to be. Any questions on these?
I like how when you post pictures sometimes with your clients, that you do like kind of scatter them in and make them all pretty.
Pretty.
Like, yeah.
Yes. So, okay.
So I want to do that.
You're going to, what I'm going to tell everybody is that everybody has their own style. It's like your house. Like everybody has their own. Do you like a clean, sleek house, or do you like it, chic, more chic, not like, what is it, shabby chic, where it's more, eclectic and knick-knacky things. Personally, my garden is very shabby chic. I love it. I love to have lots in there and it's everything going everywhere. And that's the way I like to garden, but I like to respect people that want it very, da, 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 da. So it's up to you. And that's why it's fun to have a plan to figure out, what your style is and how much you want to put in there. But I like intensive planting lots of plants and lots of variety in my garden. That's the gardenary way that I learned, that I became a certified gardenary coach. And that's the way I like to show people it's very pretty that way. But again, if you like it very organized, it's fine. So either way is fine. I wanted to inspire everybody. The two of the pictures on the right are Rosemary's harvest. This is what she grew this year. Yay, look at those beautiful
Lemons.
Oh yeah, my house came
Oh
with
my
the
gosh.
ridiculous lemon trees. Like
Oh
I
my,
I
I'm
had
jealous.
11 and I now have 5 because a few of them were saplings, and one of them died last year. So yeah, I have now two different kinds, but five awesome ones that I'm really babying now.
Now
Yeah, you
this
have like
is
an
her.
orchard.
So, and by the way, Julie, I took home your lemon tree that we had planted for you, and
Yeah.
it's doing great. I put it in a pot and it's alive and well. So that's
Oh, good.
nice to know, isn't it? But
Yeah.
the thing about this harvest from Rosemary is that it was the end of the season, and went to her house and I said, "You got to get these off the tree." So what happens is if you once you have lemon trees, you want to at the end of the season, you want to get everything off because we need to have all that energy go back to the roots for next season.
And how was I should I have known that it was time when they're all ripe? Because that was like November, Thanksgiving.
When you did this.
No, no. I did that after you told me, but they were all ripe and yellow in November, December.
So what I tell people is just go ahead and harvest as much as you want, as you're going along. And then towards the end of February,
Okay.
that's when anything left over, we got to get it off the tree.
And just so everybody else knows, if you want fruit trees, that's also when you prune them and then fertilize them and then neem oil them and all the things, right?
Yes, and that's going to be next week's lesson.
Right.
Yes, so I wanted to show everybody what is possible. These are all grown here in Las Vegas. Look at those beets. Aren't they beautiful?
Yes. And the artichokes
Wow.
too.
And the
is that
artichokes.
one?
Those artichokes. Now those are so the artichokes take a few years, but if they're right in the ground, they're not even in a raised bed, and they do beautiful.
I want to get an artichoke plant.
And the bushes get really big, right, Jamie?
Yes, so artichoke is a huge plant. It gets really big, but then in the wintertime, it dies. It comes like down to nothing. It's sort of like you can't even believe this thing. It's like huge and then nothing. So
Wow.
that's what it does. And it's a very, it's sort of it's not an ugly plant. It's pretty.
It's not ugly. So it's kind of ugly.
Well, it's sort of gangly. And the other
Okay.
thing about the artichoke is that once you plant one, not only does it come back every year, it multiplies. So if you have one artichoke plant in a couple years, you'll have 6 or 7 or 8. And you can, after 2 or 3 years, you can divide them and give them to friends or replant them around. So artichokes are something that do very well here in the desert. And they are like I call it one and done. You buy one and you never have to buy another one because they come back every year and they multiply. So
Yeah,
it's
I want to
very
get one.
cool.
I look at the pictures. They're not that bad to me. They're not that bad. It's very like rustic looking.
They're a
I,
little bit rustic. Yeah, I mean, that's what I'm saying to you. They're not bad. And the
yeah.
flower is gorgeous. It looks like a giant purple thistle.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
purple.
Cute,
They're
cute.
very pretty
I
flowers.
want to get this. When is a good time to plant an artichoke plant?
Artichoke is now. It's a warm plant.
Oh, so I could plant a seed now and then just like,
Well, I tell you what. Okay.
mm,
Artichokes are one of those things. It's a better to buy the plant than the seed.
mm,
So they'll have them at Star. So you can buy one at Star. And but yeah, I mean, I think the seed is just it's just too I don't know if it's seed. Okay, let's put it this way. I've never done them from seed, and when what I've been told is that it's better to get them from a plant. There's certain plants. I didn't talk about this. I was going to talk about this today. There are certain plants that do better as a plant to buy.
yeah.
One of them is, I think, is artichoke. I tell you what, another one that's a good one to buy is a tomato and a pepper and a eggplant. Now, Rosemary, did you put your eggplants in from seeds or from plants? Oh, is Rosemary, did she leave? I'm pretty sure she got it from plant. Because she usually does buy her plants from the store nursery. So, and let me tell you the reason why is that they do take so long
Mm,
from the beginning. I mean, unless you could start them indoors, but again, you just don't have time. So if you wanted to do it for this year, I mean, it's $4 for a plant.
yeah.
It's not that much. So I would do that way. Or trying to think if you know of anybody that has some that they could divide them for you.
Yeah. So artichoke, tomato, pepper, eggplant. You'd recommend getting the plant.
Yes, yeah. And everything else, right? Like a lemon tree. I would never suggest starting a lemon tree from a seed ever. It just would take too long. I mean, you can buy those, you can buy them inexpensively and put them in the ground and they'll be fine. So you don't like that's the other thing that you don't want to do from seed. So you know what? I think I'm gonna do what plants need to buy because it's easier to say the ones to buy because most everything's easy to get from seed.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, wait, let me get out real quick. Rosemary wants to come back in. There we go. Sorry about that, Rosemary. I didn't realize you got out there.
Sorry about, I'm having a lot of technical difficulties today. I apologize for being so disruptive.
No problem. So I wanted to share what we're going to do next week, which is we are going to do talk about the fruit trees and the citrus trees. We're going to talk all about those, the care for those next week. But we're also going to spend a little time, if you guys are interested, this is going to be fun. I'm going to teach you guys how to do something like this on Canva. It's super easy to do. Would that be something you guys would be interested in? Julie, no? Yes, no? Yeah?
Because I'm like, I could just go to Joe Jamie and ask.
What's that?
I was like, oh, I could just have Joe Jamie just tell me what to do.
Absolutely, you can absolutely do that. Anyway, I just thought if anybody was interested, it's not, I'm not going to spend a lot of time on it, but
I will just say I love gardening because I absolutely despise being on a computer, so probably not for me.
okay.
Yeah.
And how about
I don't have any raised beds yet. So
you know, okay, so everybody doesn't want, you know what? So this is perfect. We will not even bother. Because is the vote is no, we'll spend time like we have. Let me tell you, there is an infinite amount of things to talk about as far as gardening goes. There'll be an infinite amount of things, so there's plenty to talk about. So if that's not
And
something,
and Joe Jamie, if nobody else has citrus, you don't have to do that just for me. I'm okay.
yes, no, well, everyone's saying that they don't care, so they're not interested. So we'll just skip that. And maybe what I'll do is I might just make a little class on it and then put it in. I'm gonna have a whole library at the end of the year. You guys, everything's gonna be in a library, and so it'll all be there. So maybe I will do that down the line because someone probably will want to have this at some point. A lot of people.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Yeah, and it's really not that hard to do. So anyway,
And I was just gonna say, if you're looking for Anna, if you're looking for a place to source some good raised beds, I did find some at that discount store I was telling you about.
oh, really?
And they had a couple of different kinds. So maybe I can get if we can connect. Well, I have your phone number now, right? So um, maybe we can connect and I can help you with that. Every Thursday, everything at the store is half off. And last week I got ceiling trays too.
what's the name
Amazing.
of this store?
You really don't want to go there. It's not very nice, but it's very close to my house. It's called Action Discount, and it's just so random. They're a liquidation store.
How
Oh,
random.
There are in my part of town, there are lots and lots of discount stores. I don't really know why. So, but they had a couple of different, I think I took pictures of them, a couple of different options. So,
Oh, wow. Yeah, I'd love to see that. Thank you.
sure.
the other place down by you, have you heard of Vitacost?
No, you told me about that, and I still haven't been there.
So Vitacost, it's like going to Whole Foods and everything's $1.
I love that. This would be a good resource thing because I wrote it down. I remember writing down that place that you said last week, Rosemary, and now I've written it in a safe place and I can't remember where I put it.
I mean, it's so funny because because this group is gonna be, it's very eclectic, like some of the trips and things that we'll get, but that's what I love about it. And it's, so this place is a hit and miss, but it's lovely. It's like in a very lovely, okay, this is another great tip. Has anybody eaten at the guilt-free gluten cafe. Oh, you guys, it's so good.
Where the heck's that?
So this is my double duty. I go to guilt-free gluten for lunch, and then I go straight to Vitacost. It's like right next to each other.
I'm looking it up right now. Guilt-free gluten.
Yeah, it is so random. It is in the middle of nowhere. There is not very cute. Well, you'll see. It's sort of cute, but it's really not. They're trying, they're trying to be cute, but it's not.
It's not bad. It's a little kitschy, but it's not bad.
It's kitschy. But what it is this is a weird, I think their main gig is that they do Meals for Wheels. And they're providing all these meals. But for the public, they have a little lunch. And I'm just telling you guys, I promise you, I'm so picky about food. It's healthy and it's delicious.
Amazing.
Green drinks, anyways, and it's next to Vitacost. So guilt-free gluten, make it a trip.
I wish I had one of those.
Hey, we could all meet for lunch there.
Yeah.
That'd be cool.
Fun. Okay. So I have another announcement that I'm very excited to tell you all. Peach trees are going to be blooming at the Master Gardens, and I want to take you guys to see the peach trees and to see the gardens. I hope that you guys will come. But I will set a date. I've been wanting you guys to come to the gardens because then you can see it's a demonstration garden. Oh my gosh, it's where I volunteer, and it is so pretty. And it's just a spectacular place, and it's a hidden gem in Vegas. So maybe the whole thing is it's so close to the guilt-free gluten.
Oh, we can have lunch there.
We can do peach trees and lunch in Vitacost. Okay, that's it.
That sounds great. I'd love to do that. I'd love to.
Well, I'll try to find a date. I'll make like 3 dates and see what everybody can do, and we'll do it. So that's my big
Sunday. Is Sunday a good thing to come to if we can get out?
Unfortunately, it's closed on Sundays.
No, I'm sorry. Your Mojave Bloom.
Oh, thank you for telling me. Yeah, I'm doing a free lecture at Mojave Bloom this Sunday at 10 o'clock. Mojave Bloom, again, another hidden treasure. My gosh, I'm going to be sending you guys a book this week. I've got all these notes. Mojave Bloom is a little nursery downtown, and it specializes in a lot of cactus, and also it's gifts. So it has really cute little gift things there, gardening gift things. And I love the owners. Norm Schilling is a legend in our community. He's had a Schilling landscape business for years and years and years. And his wife started this little nursery, and it's very cute. So anyway, I love to go there. So that's going to be.
It's downtown. Is that what you said?
Yeah, it's sort of in the arts district.
Cool.
Yeah. So that's Sunday. And then, Julie, out your way. Have you been to the Rita Deenan Abbey Museum?
No, I have not.
Oh my gosh. And Rosemary, do you like museums?
Yes. Is that the place you were going to do a class there?
I'm doing a class there on March 2nd or something like that, the Sunday. You guys, it is gorgeous. So anyway, I'll send you about that too. I'm going to be announcing it, but you guys will get, make sure that you know about that. So that's another thing I'm doing. It's going to be called Botanical Alchemy, marrying the 4 elements with the 5 senses. So I'm going to be talking about gardening with the paintings.
It's super bougie. I remember you telling me that.
Yeah, it's a little bit bougie. I don't know if anybody's like botanical alchemy. It sounds like too complicated, but we'll see. Okay, it's 4 more minutes. Do you guys have any questions?
I have questions.
Yes, good, Julie.
No, Anna's son has a question. You go first.
Sam, you have a question, honey?
Can I come to the gluten thingy?
Oh my gosh.
Yes, of course you can come.
What day is it?
Well, I don't think we picked a day yet. I think we're gonna see. We'll have to see whether you're at school or if it's the weekend. Okay. Okay. Good question.
That would be great. Maybe I could get them to open for a special or something if we have to do it on the weekend, that Sam can come. He would love it. Julie, what is your question?
Oh, I have a question. This maybe sound very basic, but when am I transitioning? Because I have plants there. For example, I feel my broccoli is just starting to come up.
Right.
My cauliflower, nothing happened.
Ugh.
That didn't change. Sorry, not my cauliflower, sorry, my cabbage. And then my peas are it's starting to grow, right? So I'm not really sure, like, when do I start transitioning? What do I pull out? What about the plants that are currently there?
Okay, so that's such a good question. So basically what we're going to do is leave everything. I'm not sure if my broccoli did not do well this year. So I don't know if I didn't put it in early enough. Again, it's going to be one of these things where, hit and miss.
Hmm.
So I would say we can keep it. Actually, my broccoli is going to flower right now. So yours might go to
Oh,
flower too. Might not
okay.
get it. Once it goes to flower, I would just pull it out and you make space.
Yeah.
Your lettuces.
I took my lettuces out already completely because they were all bolting.
Okay, I planted lettuce seeds today. Literally,
Okay.
you can keep
That's-
planting.
I'm
So I
gonna
want
I'm
you to
gonna plant some lettuce
keep
seeds.
planting lettuces, even some kale if you want.
I
The-
would like some kale. I
so
need this.
let's go back. I'm going to go back and show you one more thing. I don't think you might have noticed this today. Let me get this to go. Oh, we got this going up here. Oops, sorry. I got to learn how to work this better. I got to get us down here. Play. Here is what we can do right now. Because we're transitioning from cool to warm, but we have some cool plants that will make it if we plant them now. So these are all the things that you could. I don't know about the spinach. I think I wouldn't do spinach right now, but certainly Swiss chard because that goes all the way through. Your red lettuces and romaine, kale, mustard greens. You can do small carrots. You can possibly do beets. I'm not sure if they'll make it or not. Definitely radishes and some more. You've got a lot of green onions. Are your green onions doing okay?
They're sprouting, but they're very slow.
Okay, well, we'll see. They might just start going quick crazy now that it's getting a little bit warmer. So they
Hmm.
might be okay. But to answer your question, we're just going to wait a couple more weeks. You can't, if you have, we're actually not going to be planting right now. I've got a planting list for March that I'm going to send out to you guys this week as well. And maybe we'll talk a little bit about that at the end of at our next session, which is in two weeks. But I would say this week, especially, we're not going to plant any warm plants right now, but we can plant some of the cool plants, which is this list right here.
Okay, so like leave my plants where they are, except
Yes,
for unless they start to flower, which means they're done,
that means they're
and
done. And there's
throw
like,
these seeds down.
how was your arugula? That should have done well
Um, they're surviving.
because mine are still
They're not
doing great.
thriving.
Mine are doing great, but then there's one or two that just bolted, and I've got flowers,
Oh, really?
and they're
I was
beautiful.
looking at why plants bolt, and it says that it could be that they get too much, it's too warm, and so they think that it's at the end of their life cycle.
Exactly. That is
They bolt.
exactly why they do. And I also found it interesting that your lettuces that we planted for you bolted earlier because we did not plant them from seed. We put
Mhm.
those in from plants.
Right.
I
I don't
thought that
know.
was interesting because
You didn't getting too much sun?
I don't know, but I thought that was interesting because all my lettuces, none of them bolted yet. And I
Oh,
did
interesting.
all of mine, I planted mine way before yours, and they were from seed. So, and I've been sort of planting them all season now. So,
Yeah.
Julie, I want you to keep seeding, keep trying, and I think
Yeah.
you'll be okay.
Okay. I also wondered if I didn't water it enough. Like there was, because it says keep soil moist to prevent bolting.
Yeah,
And so
okay, that
water
could,
stresses it out.
yes, yeah. So that could be
Yeah.
there's always a reason for everything, but
Mhm.
and that's why it's fun to talk. It's why I love having a whole group of us because everyone's going to have different problems and different things that we can all share.
Yeah.
And it shares our experiences, and it's all different. So
This is a random rookie question. Are there should you just always plan on gathering the seeds that you can from your own garden and just keep them?
You can, so yes. Now here's the situation. You got to remember, like for instance, my marigolds, I let them, they look, if you go on my Instagram, I showed you, they look so horrible. They're brown and ugly. Most people don't want to keep that in their gardens like that.
Right.
I don't mind because I want to have the seeds from them. So it just is all depending. You know, a seed packet is what, $2. So it's not a lot, $2 or $3.
But it's so cool. And you went to that seed swap, and it's so cool to be like, these are seeds from my garden.
Yes. So we go to see, we talked about this last week, Julie. There's seed swaps are going on right now. And you can actually, if you Google seed swaps, you might be able to get one this weekend and get some free seeds.
Ooh.
And you don't even have to bring any. People just give they love to swap seeds and give out seeds.
Oh.
Look that up. We talked about that last week.
Where is that?
That's really fun. And let's see, anything else? I think we're up. The hour is almost gone. And let me know, guys, if you have any more specific questions, but we'll be back in 2 weeks. I'm going to think about this idea of the WhatsApp because I think that could be fun. If that's what you guys want to do. But that's what you want, right, Julie?
I support that. However, you know, it doesn't matter because it's like what I like. It doesn't matter like why I specifically want. It's more like what works for the group. Because
Yes.
like I want the whole group part, you know, to be like to find
Right.
it useful.
But like I said, I've got the Facebook private one set up, but
And
let's.
we are all now connected on text message also. So we are, I mean,
Yeah. Oh, wait, are we all on a text message together? That's right. I did. Oh, I didn't put you on, Anna. Okay. So tell you what I'll do. We could start off with just texting each other. Really? What do you think about that?
I think
That's
that's
fine. Yeah.
That to me is okay. If this group is small, we can just do, let's start with the texting situation. And then if people don't like it, they can take themselves off. I think you can take yourselves off. And then as we get going, maybe next week or week after, we can start thinking about something else. But I like that idea for right now. But feel free to I'll do one more text string for everybody, and we'll put everybody on there. And then if you can just take yourself off if you don't want to be on it. But I like that idea.
Simple.
Okay. All right. Julie, do you have any more, Julie? One or two more questions?
No, no, I'm good. Yeah, thank you.
Okay. Ladies, this was great. I will send out the replay, and if you ever wanted to review anything with my huge list of great information. This group is going to be a wealth of fun tips, tricks and tips. And then we'll talk about our date for our peach blossom tour of the gardens soon. And maybe a lunch date at this at this crazy place for lunch near Rosemary's house.
Amazing.
All right, guys.
Thank you. Have a fun
Thank you,
time
Jamie.
tonight.
Yes.
Enjoy.
Yes, have so much fun. Post pictures.
Yes, we want to see.
All right, guys. See you later. Bye.
Bye. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.